Face cam's back, baby. And so is the Minnesota Vikings season. And that means it's time for their full 53-man roster. No more nobodies. These are the important players in purple and gold that we can cheer on. So let's break this baby down.
12 seconds to go in the game. Niners lead by 4.
So let's start it off and start with quarterbacks. Very much as planned. 3 quarterbacks: Cousins, Simeon, and Slaughter. We love Slaughter and Cousins. All right. Running backs. This is the first curveball of the roster. Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, obvious. C.J. Ham, 3 running backs. Could have been fine there, all right? We wanted 3 actual running backs. We got 4. Mike Boone and Rock Thomas both made the roster. No more all that ridiculous who's better, we don't know. Which one's better? Which one will make the team? Doesn't matter if it's Mike Boone or Rock Thomas. Why can't it be Mike Boone and Mike Thomas? And that's the mindset we're going with. We gotta take them both. Wide receiver. Another position group that, besides for the first 3, the rest was wide open, right? So, of course, Diggs, Thielen, Treadwell, set. Next, we kept, as I predicted, the Vikings cut Kendall Wright because he was just nobody, no help whatsoever. I like the option as a backup slot wide receiver or slot receiver for Adam Thielen, but Thielen's not going to get hurt. Who cares? So after that, we have Brandon Zystra and Stacy Coley. Coley was injured a lot this preseason and during training camp, but last preseason he made some plays and outplayed a higher draft pick Rodney Adams. And outplayed him. He's retired now. Stacy Coley's on the big squad. So interesting how that pans out. Zystra, we'll see. Even if he plays, it'll be very interesting. Stacy Coley, I really am curious how he's gonna play. Maybe Kendall Wright got cut because they like Stacy Coley in the slot. We'll see how that pans out and how that transitions to on the field. Tight ends, of course, Rudolph, David Morgan. Third tight end between Blake Bell and Tyler Conklin, the rookie one. That was probably the more obvious choice, but both were god-awful in camp, so it's like, do we even need to? Well, you like to, especially since Cousins loves his tight ends. So 3, maybe even 4 tight ends would have made a whole lot of sense, but they were both awful. Now, you could say, yeah, they were bad, but they were trying to catch passes from god-awful Trevor Siemian. So, are they really that bad? So, Conklin gets a nod. The Vikings go a little more on the receiving option and the blocking option. Offensive linemen. Aviante Collins, Tom Compton, Pat Elflein's on the roster. He's not on the pup. Rashad Hill, Danny Isadora, Brett Jones, who the coaches just love how well he played preseason week 4 and throughout camp. Apparently, he's the front runner if Elflein is hurt. I wouldn't even be mad if he played left guard. He's being very, very, very highly regarded as a coaching staff. Riley Reef, Brian O'Neill, and Mike Remmers. So, offensive line, basically exactly as a lot of people thought. Moving on to defense, the defensive line. Another big surprise. Starting Everson Griffin, Danielle Hunter. I thought there were 3 locks for the defensive end. Oh, well. Tayshawn Bauer, Jalen Holmes, Jaleel Johnson, Linval Joseph, David Perry, an interesting choice, Sheldon Richardson, and Stephen and Stephen Weatherly. B-Rob got cut. I predicted it, but I cut it out of my my predictions, and I know you guys would call me out on it, so I just didn't want to cause any controversy of my insider knowledge. I didn't want Mike Zimmer to find out that I knew the insider stuff, what's going on there at the Vikings HQ. Big shocker to everybody else though. B-Rob, one of the not even leaders of the defense, leaders of the team, and was basically a captain. And didn't have the C on the jersey, but was a big leader. Didn't have the C on the jersey, but was a big leader. They have the C on the jersey, but was a big leader, and he didn't contribute a ton anymore on defense. He was in the nickel sub package on a 3DN set. If he wanted to give Everson or Daniil a little rest, he could sub in at the defensive end position. But now all of a sudden, we have Jalen Holmes that can do the exact same thing. Younger, more talented. Let's fly in, let's go get it. You would think that B-Rob just being there as a mentor would be really cool. Maybe like someone else on the Vikings team. But let's go. They know what they're doing. We have one of the best D-line coaches in the league, so needing that veteran presence probably not very necessary. We have Everson, who already took that role as the mentor leader guy. Daniil Hunter, he's 21. Now you're the leader. So this is what we are as the defense. We are with Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman aren't only building the best roster in the NFL. Also, they're going for the youngest. So moving on to the linebackers, as predicted, basically Anthony Barr, Ben Gedding, Eric Kendricks, the 3. Eric Wilson played very well, deserved a spot. Devontae Downs made linebacker 5. All right, cornerbacks. Maybe the biggest surprise, but again, the genius.
Yeah, told it again.
Mackenzie Alexander made the team on the trade block. Maybe if Terrance Newman didn't retire because he died on the roster, he'll be a coach in the 2018 season. Mackenzie Alexander's roster spot's a lot safer now. But hey, Newman's as a coach, even better. I thought he was just getting too slow last year, right? You could see it heavily against the Steelers team. You saw it. You saw every corner get exposed in Philly, but he was definitely one targeted as well. But Mackenzie Alexander, Mike Hughes, Xavier Rhodes, Marcus Scherzick, and Trey Waynes, and Holton Hill maybe forced Newman to retire basically because of his return ability. Because of his return ability that we saw week 4 in the preseason, really having a good burst, which is very nice to see from a tall, lengthy corner to be able to have that burst to really cover those quicker receivers. I know punt returning versus reading routes and playing coverage in the NFL is very different, but very nice to see. Safeties: Anthony Harris, George Ilaka, Jaron Curse, Harrison Smith, and of course Andrew Sendejo, because as everybody knows, we will keep all 3 starting caliber safeties because Zimmer loves 3 safety sets. Specialists: Daniel Carlson, Kevin McDermott, and we thought the punter is Ryan Quigley, but turns out he sucks. So we cut him after the Vikings announced their first 53 and signed former Steelers punter Matt Weil. Now you get Vikings fans hope that this guy stays alone, and hope this guy stays around for a while. But besides for that, apparently Ryan Quigley just sucked in preseason. Basically, why this happened. His hang time on his kicks was atrocious, and that's really what set up a lot of the long returns. And Matt Weil, even though he has a very small sample size, was consistently as good as how great Quigley was last year. And that was the big surprise. Everybody said, well, Quigley was phenomenal last year. No touchbacks, or barely any return yardage at all. So why you gonna want Matt Weil, basically that guy, younger, and didn't suck this preseason. So Vikings again go a little bit younger, get Matt Weil. He's our punter. Get used to it for a while. So there's all 53 players coming onto the Minnesota Vikings roster. Practice squad video coming up very shortly. I want to hold that off just in case they make any other moves. Keep in mind, practice squad, they can always keep the extra man that they that Spielman can sign, jump out, practice squad, cuts and re-sign. They can do that with the 10th and 11th players, because if nobody really wants them, they can just keep them around the team so they're familiar with the offense in case they have a chance to get on the active roster. See what they do there. Tell me in the comments, how excited are you? Who are you going to miss? Who do you think the Vikings team, the defense, will miss the most between Robison and Newman? Both could have been, Newman could have been the third corner, but it probably would have been the fourth, maybe the fourth. And Robison probably still would have been the third DN unless they really love Jalen Holmes, but that's not what it looked like in preseason. So give me your thoughts in the comments. I would say B-Rob, because I think Newman can provide basically just as much as a coach, and Robison will probably go elsewhere, I think. I know he really loves Minnesota, but that's the business. Well, anyways, as I'm recording on my phone because I moved to college and forgot my webcam. But yeah, probably say it looks better anyway. So we'll see you guys in the next Josie Vikings video. See you guys then.